she beat up on it today. I mean, she beat up on it hard. But it's getting better.
Okay.
So I let her beat.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat.
How about this one? Knock, knock.
Who's that?
Little old lady.
Little old lady here.
I didn't know you could yodel.
I have tons you don't know about. Joan is breathing regularly and sleeping.
Yep, and she's here.
And I've seen her.
Yeah.
I've seen her. She's
Well, she made it through April 15th.
Oh, I see.
It's like my sister. You know. So let's tell her. We don't talk to her for the first time. We write her home. That's okay.
All she does is come home and tell me stories about the crazy things she's trying to do Texas.
And they're all crazy.
Yes, they are.
And that's the way. And then life goes on. So, and you are okay?
Yes. Doing well. I was yelling at high school kids all day, so
Oh.
gotta make sure my voice stays good for
Well,
tonight.
I read the article that the ACD director wrote and what nice words she said about you. She said you were nice to kids. And I went, really?
I must have missed that. She put it in something. Was that in the email that went out?
No. I have the newsletter,
Oh, okay.
which comes out 3 times a year. And now it's not really so. She was, this is the end of my first year. People, she said, thank you. You'll see it when it comes out. We send that to you, right?
Yes.
We must. We send you one. We wouldn't want you to Okay, so everybody liked the cue sheet, which is good. We started with 4 months ago. I had to make sure that
It's comfortable. Yeah, so I noticed it was all familiar stuff. So.
mostly. Yes, that was purpose. Done with teenage. Perhaps even with college. We'll see. That's a good word for attention, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Very good. That was
Showing which candle you like first. Farthest one.
Because it.
So you don't burn your arm when you're reaching. Because if you light this one first, then you're reaching over to light the second.
Well, before there was a guitar here,
Right.
now there's a guitar.
Well, even if you stood here, I mean, even if I moved the guitar, still you kind of like.
Unless you're left-handed.
Right. Are you right-handed? You're right-handed.
So it's all
If you're left-handed,
do it the other way.
right. If you're left-handed, maybe still you could argue, but it's not as. That's why I teach them. Well, I go over it with them in the rehearsal. I do. I go over with them.
All right. I'm going to go find.
I am fine. A little worried.
No, she's already nervous.
So that actually adds to my worries.
No. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm too late. I'm worried. After that rehearsal, it's going to be like, ugh. Wasn't expecting it to be as bad as it was.
I don't know that bad
what, I need a...
I purchased, I don't know, maybe 25 instruments through them over the years.
Wow.
Some for me, some I was the instrument manager at the University of Maryland band, so purchased like 12 tubas from them once.
How much does tube cost?
These days, about 6,000 to 8,000, depending on what you want. Yes, it is.
Tube is an expensive instrument to play.
Yes, well, it's a lot of brass, and brass is expensive these days.
Yeah, brass is expensive. What time is it? 6:58. You got 2 or 3 more.
Yeah. So I'm amazed that somebody here must have gone to Chuck Levin's, Washington Music Center.
Could have been Tom.
That's
Maybe
possible.
not, actually.
It's possible. But yeah, I like this pick. I'm learning. I've never used picks before this year, and I'm learning about the thickness of picks and how they.
Well, right.
You
The thicker
get
the pick, the
different-
louder the music. But
Right.
sometimes it's when you're but when it's more intimate, you want to use a thinner.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was having control problems, so I was using the thicker picks because they're better for control. But now I'm getting used to it. So.
I have no control no matter what, so it doesn't matter.
I have zero control.
Ricky, good to see you. Welcome back. Don't be judgy on us.
Guys, have you signed in? The judging has already started.
Page 129. Page 129. Do, D, Lee. See everyone here. Shabbat Shalom. I've a few new faces in here. It's really nice to see some new people in here. And if you're wondering, if you're looking and you're saying, wow, there's a lot of service that we're doing tonight, and that seems a little unusual, it's because today was the Temple Beth Shalom Men's Club Golf Tournament. And it's just a blast. A lot of fun, really successful this year, better than most. And so it kind of keeps me out most of the day, and so I really didn't have any time to think. And so I said, all right, today we'll just do some extra singing, and I won't speak tonight. But you know, usually when I say that, people are relieved anyway. So tonight we're just going to do, so if it looks like a lot, it's because I'm not going to be speaking later on, giving a sermon. So just know, don't worry, it wasn't me. There's no cruel and unusual punishment. It's just going to be a lot of nice singing. With one song that you've never heard before that we're going to learn together. Yep, even introducing a new song. But before we continue, we want to officially usher in Shabbat with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. And we do so by inviting our bat mitzvah of tomorrow, Eliana, to join us here with her sister and her parents. I was going to say maybe more than just sister and parents, but it's just sister and parents. And so we invite them to come forward. We're on page, by the way, if you'd like, page 120 or 121, actually. First 121.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own days be among those who kindle light.
Now get the matches. That's okay. That's the match's fault, not yours. We know where to plan. You did it correctly, thank you. It's nice and slow. You got like an hour. Good job.
Shel Shabbat.
We are on page 123 now with Kiddush. And then I'll finish it up. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava u'ratzon, hinvilanu, zikaron ma'aseh b'reishit, kibuyom tehila, lemikrae kodesh, zecher letziyat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, b'ahava u'ratzon, hinchatanu, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Now you can take a sip. How was it? Disgusting, she says. All right, I'll take the book back. I'll see you guys back up here in about an hour. All right, good. So our service continues with Ya'aloz Sadai. This can be found on page 137. Ya'aloz Sadai. Ya'aloz Sadai, v'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'aloz Sadai, v'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 az yiramenu kol atzei ya'ar, az yiramenu kol atzei ya'ar, az yiramenu kol atzei ya'ar, az yiramenu kol atzei ya'ar. Ya'aloz Sadai, v'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'aloz Sadai, v'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 az yiramenu kol atzei ya'ar, az yiramenu kol atzei ya'ar, az yiramenu kol atzei ya'ar, az yiramenu kol atzei ya'ar. Ya'aloz Sadai, v'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'aloz Sadai, v'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 ay. It's going to be a fun one tonight. Get ready for more. That's not it. We've got so much more. So Kabbalat Shabbat is, contains many, many, many of the various different psalms. So what we just did was part of on, page 137. That was Ya'aloz Sadai, and that's Psalm 90. Help me out. What psalm is that? Let's see. Psalm 99. 95, excuse me.
95, 96, somewhere in there.
I think it's 90. All right, so 96. So then, and it's part of it. And now Adonai Oz is part of the one on page So Ya'aloz Sadai. I had the wrong pages. I'm so sorry. Yellow said I was on page 131. I'm so sorry. And on page 137, that was Psalm 96. And now on Psalm 99, or excuse me, Psalm 29 is Adonai Oz, and you can find that on page 137. So I finally figured out what I was trying to say. But the point, though, is that Kabbalat Shabbat is made up of psalms and also Lecha Dodi. And so it's like these are joyous things, the way of us getting the joy kind of moving and going. And so now the next one, Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain, may God give strength to us and bless us with peace. And so that's on the bottom of 137.
Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yivarech et Amo. Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yivarech et Amo.
So Lecha Dodi is next. Again, this one, unlike the others in which are part of the Psalms, this one is its own kind of standalone poem almost, and it's called a piyut, a liturgical poem. In fact, there are three different sources for so many of the parts of the Shabbat service. So the first source is the Bible itself. Things like Shema, V'yahavta, Michamocha, from the Torah. Then another source is the Talmud. It's oftentimes things with blessings associated in the Baruch Atah Adonai parts. Usually that comes from the Talmud. And then there's poetry, like Lecha Dodi, liturgical poems that were just added over the generations and over the centuries. And certainly this one counts as that. In fact, written by Shlomo Alkabetz, but what's kind of fun is that he etched his name, because there weren't copyright laws back then, and so he etched his name into this prayer, because if you look, the first letter of every one of the verses, so the first verse is Shamor, so it's a shin, and then Likrat is the first letter of the second verse, and then Mikdash, and then Hit Na'ari, which, so those four letters, Shin, Lamed, Mem, Aleph, spell out Shlomo. And then in the second line, verse 5, or next page, verse 5, Hey, Lamed, Vav, Yud, Halevi, Shlomo Halevi. He stuck his name right in the text as a way of saying, no one can take credit for this, just me. Lecha Dodi, we're going to do verse 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach the 9th verse, we're going to rise and face the entrance to greet the Sabbath bride. Lecha Dodi.
La 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 la, Lecha Dodi. La 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 la, Likrat Kala. La 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 la, B'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat Nikah. La 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 la, Lecha Dodi. La 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 la, Likrat Kala. La 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 la, B'nei
So the people on stream don't get to watch it, but that's okay. So this one is simple. The words are very simple. The melody is not so hard either. And you can find it on page 141. So let's turn to 141 together. And I'm going to show you where it is. So let's see here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines down. Or 4 lines down from the bottom, from the third paragraph. So those words are Mikolot Mayim Rabim, which means more than the sound of the thunder and the great waters. Adirim Mishberei Yam, more majestic than the crashing of the waves of the sea. Adir Bamarom Adonai. That God is more majestic and more extraordinary than all that. Majestic on high. So it's just those lines. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Mishberei Yam, Adir Bamarom Adonai. That's it. And it's the same composer as the one who did some of the ones that we've already done, like Ya'aloz Sadai and Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain. It's part of the Yoel Sykes, who writes music for a group, a synagogue in Jerusalem called Nava Tehillah, which is this really beautiful group, and it's very, I mean, the energy in that room is really something else, and so this is just yet another one that he does, and it's something we really love. So why am I not seeing? I like them all over the place here. Huh. Oh, you know why? It's because we skipped one.
But we can go back to that.
We'll go back to it. All right, so we skipped one, but we're going back to it. So so first Mikolot Mayim Rabim. Yeah, let's say, why don't we see it there? All right.
Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Mishmarei Yam. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Mishmarei Yam. Adir Bamarom Adonai. Adir Bamarom Adonai. Adir Bamarom Adonai. Adir Bamarom Adonai. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Mishmarei Yam. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Adirim Mishmarei Yam. Adir Bamarom Adonai. Adir Bamarom Adonai. Adir Bamarom Adonai. Adir Bamarom Adonai.
We're going to do that more at services in the future. Just want you to know, just prepare yourself. So we continue with going back a few pages. I got a little excited and I kind of didn't know what I was doing. So we're going back one page actually to page 140. This is Psalm 92. And it's kind of has 3 different melodies which work together. We're going to start with Tov Lahodot. We're going to then go right into Ma Gadlu and Sadiq Katamar. Is how it's going to come to a conclusion, all part of Psalm 92.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai, u'zamer
thank you. Nice. Thanks for joining and singing with us. And the beginning of the service that comes after the Kabbalat Shabbat, the getting ready for Shabbat, starts with the Baruch Hu, our call to worship, which is on page 146. And we invite you to rise again, 146. On page 148, join. Please praise to you, Adonai, our God. 49, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravi. Shema 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam Vaed.
Please be seated. 154. V'ahavta, join with us. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי וראיתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 159. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles and earth protected. protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content. For soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. And on the facing page, Micha Mocha, that song of peace. To page 162, as I was just kind of explaining to you about various different prayers that are in service and where they come from, there are also ones that have specific services associated with it. So for example, like you think we would sing the Shema at every service, but we don't. You sing it in the morning and in the evening, but what's called in the afternoon service, it's not included. The Amidah, the Tefillah, is included in every service. And then there are some which are on specific, and then there are things that you do in the mornings and things that you don't, and in the evening. So, that Micha Mocha, we have that part which goes, Malechu Techa Ra, that's an evening part. Whereas in the morning, we say something different. Shira Chadasha Shivachu Ge'ulim. This will not be on the test, by the way. However, some songs or prayers are done just on the Sabbath. And one of them is Vishamru, right? Which this is the song or the words that recognize the special quality of Shabbat and our obligation to sanctify it. So Vishamru is on the top of page 162.
וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לגדולתם ברי עולם.
All right, so the tefillah begins on page 164 and then goes on to 166, 168, and 170 in rapid succession. We will do our best, or I will do my best to tell you what page we're on, but in the event that we don't, just know that it's on 164, 166, 168, and 170. Please rise as we begin with Adonai Sifatai Tivta.
וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גדולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד אתה, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. 170. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעלוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. And we're on page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Our evening prayer for peace is called Shalom Rav. It is on page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Hasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Hasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levaretz et Amcha Yisrael. Bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim
I should have been a little bit more. See here? So sorry. There we go. All right, okay. So what we're going to do is take a moment now to just share a little bit about what's going on with us, a way of kind of creating a sense of Kihila Kedosha, holy community. And the best way to create a sense of community is just by sharing, knowing a little bit more about what's going on with each other. And so, if you have experienced joy somewhat recently and you would like to share that joy, then raise your hand. We will call on you, and you can share your joy. However, I do need to discuss with you the rules. The rules are you only get one call. So if you have neglected to say something and you want a go back, like a do-over, you don't get it. So if you have a couple of different things, you got to think through. You know what I'm saying, Ryan? Think it through. So I'm going to call on somebody else, and you just collect yourself, and then we'll get to you the second time. Go ahead, Mara, you first.
Recently, I was meditating on the water while swimming, and it was really amazing. Like it's great, great water.
You've been meditating on the water.
I was like stargazing, or like floating in the water.
Very nice. And have you come to any?
The stars moving with the water in my eyes.
Well, maybe there'll be some sort of revelations.
Perhaps.
Hopefully there are.
I need both.
For sure. Poem can come from that. More joy. Anybody else want to share a little joy? Bob.
Yes, we attended our grandson's school today for Grandparents' Day. And he's the poet laureate of the middle school, and he recited Go Nadim.
Wow. Pretty impressive.
Not sure.
No, not at all. That's pretty impressive. So from time to time, after listening to joy, then we'll say, more joy. Would you like to share?
I'm very happy to have come from New Jersey for my niece's bat mitzvah and to see my family in Maryland.
Fantastic. New Jersey, our people are from there.
an award for a career of service and excellence in the industry.
Wow.
And so I'm going to miss, unfortunately I have to fly out to Seattle to their convention, so I'll miss, not next week, but the week after next. I'll be out in Seattle, but it's a big deal in the industry.
You're thinking about changing the words there from Kenny to just for that one. Michael.
So me and my brother are going to Baltimore tomorrow with my dad.
Okay, that's fun.
Me and my dad are going fishing.
Fishing.
Oh, I got to see the rocket launch and the splashdown of the elephants.
On TV or in person? On TV, right. Still good. I just wanted to make sure that if it had been in person, you know, that would have been a big deal. Still. All right, so good stuff there. Yeah?
I came here tonight.
Yeah? All right. Think again, Tara, do you like to think to yourself, there's one thing you want to say that you forgot, or it's okay if you like write that stuff down like before you get here. More joy.
The reading section of MCAT is over for my school.
The reading section for,
MCAT is Maryland Standardized Test.
oh, I see. And CAT is medical school, that's what I thought we were getting. Congratulations. So you're just happy that it's over.
For now.
Gotcha. Wait, what do you mean for now?
There's math section.
But the reading section is over.
Yes.
Gotcha.
My joy comes from the fact that our granddaughter and her boyfriend are coming up this weekend to help celebrate my birthday.
Wow.
This volunteer organization that Doug and I volunteer for called CRAB. It takes people sailing with disabilities and veterans and wounded warriors. We just started our season this week, so I'm really excited. It runs all the way through October.
I've heard of that. It's really great. What's that? Accessible voting. Yeah. That's fantastic. More joy? Yeah.
Cheryl's family is not coming to celebrate my birthday.
That's your joy? That's your birthday.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're not coming isn't the joyous part.
But they have to help her.
Yeah, but you know, we don't want to be like, we don't want to be around those kids. I heard it in the way it was meant.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Laura.
My brother-in-law finally got to go home since September from his surgery.
Oh my
That
God.
was supposed to be a quickie, in and out, be in and out in 3 days.
Meanwhile, 6 months later, 7 months later.
Yeah. But he's doing great. He's doing absolutely wonderful. He's back to his old self.
So I got an email a couple days ago that both of these ladies made an honor roll in school.
Yeah. Congratulations. Both to you. Yeah. this is the season when a lot of stuff starts to bloom. But then, you know, you'll get more during the summer, but you get the first taste of it right now. I hear you. I hear you. More joy? All right, Paul. Yes.
So in my high school, I'm a part of my Spanish Honor Society, and I have just become an officer for the team, so it's like a leadership position.
Nice.
And I'm going to be confirmed next month.
Yes. Confirmation for her. And she's on the leadership of Spanish Honor Society, which means good resume builder. Praise you, Adonai, our God, for partnering with us in the various stories that are in our class. Amen. Along with the joy, of course, is a recognition of struggle and difficulty. Loved ones of ours do not have a complete sense of wholeness, and we have a blessing that we say for them. The way we do it here, for those of you who are kind of newcomers, is I'll share with you the first part of the blessing, called Mishmera, and then halfway through that blessing, I'll look around the room, and when my eye meets yours or close to yours, if you want to share the name of someone who is in need of healing, a loved one in need of healing, you can say your own name, you can say someone else's name, you can say a name in Hebrew, you can say the name in English, you can say the name of the person in need of physical healing, you can say the name of the person in need of emotional healing. And then we'll finish up the blessing and sing. So the blessing begins, Mishabera, Avotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Imotenu, Sarari, Kal, Leah, Rachel. And those words mean, may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, who Yivarech, Vayirapeh, Kolach, Shalanu, may God bless and heal all of our loved ones in need of healing, especially the ones whom we name at this time. So again, I'm just going to look around the room, and if my eye meets yours and you wish to share a name, please feel free to do so.
Toby Green.
Josh Sellers, Debris Scarlett.
Allison H.
Richard R. Richard D.
Stuart Schoenberg, Nancy Schoenberg.
Jonathan Scherner and Nancy Keeler.
Brenda Hare, Courtney Sarah, Janet Howard.
Beverly Nugent.
So we had Chuck Anthony, Lily Rubenstein, Shlomo David Ben Nakama, Yirmiyahu Peretz Ben Shoshana, Ronnie Meyer, Lynn Block, Jack Blum, Walter Schatzberg, and Allison Herman. Bishlach Lehem Bimhera Refuah Shalema, may God send them speedily a complete recovery. Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, healing of body and healing of spirit, Betuch Sha'ar Kolei Israel, amongst all who are in need of healing. V'nomar, Amen. And let us say. So on page 371, you find the words to Mishabera.
Ve'imo with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We pause for a moment of silence.
Say shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael,
All right, our service continues with Aleinu 586. Please rise.
Adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, lo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. So this is the part in our service when we bring to mind loved ones who have been called to their eternal rest. We remember loved ones who have passed away somewhat recently, and we also remember loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. And so what we ask is that if you hear the name of your loved one mentioned, that we invite you to rise so we can see you and be with you in your moment of mourning. And then at the conclusion of reading all names, I will invite anyone who wishes to rise to do so. But first, let me share with you names of loved ones first from our congregation who have passed away recently. That's in the most recent 30 days. We lovingly remember Edward Wendell, brother-in-law of Steve McCarrow, Elliot Polanski, father of Sherry Marvel, and Murray Seidelman, grandfather of Nama Kraus. And we also remember at this time, again, these loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on Shabbat. Sally Edelman, Leslie Harris, Deborah Kleinman, and Stanley Shattuck, Ann Silks, Nathan Weiss, Alvin Goldman, Evelyn Swartz, Anton Grabani, Tony Wagman, Ruth Wakshul, Lillian Hack, Phyllis Lichten, Jeff Mangan, Robert Polero, Jerome Shine, Mary Arnold, Lisa Blugrind, Erwin Harrison, Julius Abrams, Vivian Borelli, Jerome Cohen, Selma Gordeski Brown, Robert Cook, and Ruth Pollock. And now I invite anyone who wishes to rise because it's your tradition or in solidarity, in connection, in community, or not if it's not your tradition to do so. We continue with the Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechal beit Yisrael ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei amayah barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shemei dekudsha brichu Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiram b'yalma v'imru. Amen. Heishlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, huyaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. And let us say amen. Amen. Please be seated. We are getting very close to concluding our service. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you specifically to Carly Knott and Liz Glass, who served as ushers. Thank you to Jill Sussman for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat, I think. No? That's not true. Evelyn Rubel, Joel, and Brianna Weinshank for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat. I'm glad I looked. Not here, right? So it's always good to check this booklet. A couple of announcements probably worth mentioning. Tomorrow, Eliana's going to be bat mitzvah here. She has asked me to invite everyone to either come in person or watch on the stream and take notes and point out any mistakes that she has made. She gave me her cell phone number. You can text them to her if you want. Thought that would be kind of fun, so text all mistakes to her. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning at our Shabbat service. The weekly Torah study is at 9:30 in the morning on Mondays, and this Monday is no exception. Join us. We don't do Torah anymore. We're doing text study. We're doing the book of Joshua. It's really interesting. It's a fascinating story, and 9:30, no experience necessary. 9:30 on Monday morning. And I also have my Tuesday evening class, but no, not this week because there's a board meeting. So No Tuesday evening Sages class, but that'll come back next week. Next Friday is our final Tot Shabbat, our final congregational dinner, and our final family service. This is kindergarten and first grade. That's always a lot of fun, for sure. If you want to come to the dinner, you do need to RSVP by Tuesday. Israel Independence Day is, we'll be observing it next Sunday with Kol Sasson, which is one of the University of Maryland Jewish a cappella groups. So they'll be coming here and singing Jewish songs, some Israel songs as well, and some secular songs. They're really, really good, and it should be a lot of fun to listen to them. Plus, we'll do some other stuff in honor of Israel's Independence Day. So that's next Sunday. Check the weekly email for all the things that I've been telling you about, plus this one to RSVP. Conversation and Connection, Monday, April 27th, Hineni Committee invites you to an intimate evening with Israeli author Yiska Smith at a private home in Annapolis. So you need to RSVP for that. Check the weekly email if you're interested in participating in that. And in fact, there are plenty more things that you can find in our weekly email. You just gotta check it out. If you do not get our weekly email, hustle and get on our weekly email list. All right, so before we conclude with Am Yisrael Chai, which can be found on page, and this is not necessarily the Am Yisrael Chai that you remember growing up with. It's kind of a, I'll let, would you mind? Sure. Not yet. Well, after we do the Motzi, then you'll say a word or two about it, because it's kind of an interesting story about Am Yisrael Chai. But before we conclude with Am Yisrael Chai, Eliana, come on back up here with your sister and your parents so we can do Motzi together. Oh yeah, it's a good one. Hold that. So you ready to do this with me? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. You can take a hunk out of that if you want, like a bigger hunk. You guys can take some and then you can feel free. And then next thing we know, I'll see you guys. Now you know this challah will be available for sampling at the Onik Shabbat. All right, you guys can return back to your seats. We conclude with Am Yisrael Chai, but Cantor Isman's going to say a word or two about it to kind of explain to you what makes this one unique.
So this setting of Am Yisrael Chai was written by Noam Katz, who is a contemporary Jewish composer. He's a cantor. And he spent a great deal of time studying with Jews in Uganda. The I knew I was going to mess this up. Abba Yudaya Jews of Uganda. And they have a local dialect that they speak of their native language, which is Luganda. And in their native language, any word that ends in a consonant, they add an extra vowel to it. And so they have adopted that for their Hebrew as well as their speaking their native language. And so instead of Am Yisrael Chai, this becomes Ameh Yisrael Chai. Since Chai doesn't end in a consonant, we don't add anything to it. But if it ends in a consonant, we add an extra vowel. So this is Ameh Yisrael Chai. I can sing it better than I can say it. So join us, it's very repetitive and I'm sure you'll pick it up. Ameh, Ameh, Ameh Yisrael Chai. 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 Oh,
with us. And Oneg Shabbat out in the lobby. And Shabbat Shalom to anyone who watched on our stream.
Am Yisrael Chai.